it's the eternal question, Ethel, to buy or not to buy, especially when it comes to property, right? And I think now, as we're in the middle of a pandemic, as people are worried about the economy, CNC ran a survey, and we got some responses back.
Yeah.
So what was the responses of this survey that you found?
So in this survey, there was about 490 respondents in this survey, and it could be divided into 3 age groups. So the first one is the 23 to 35, which is the younger one, and then there's the middle age group, which is 36 to 45, no, 55, sorry, and then 55 and above, which is the older age group. So most of our respondents are from the younger age group, which is the 23 to 35. And so far what we can see is that people are still interested to buy. The buying interest still remains in this challenging time. But the question comes to whether or not they are able to buy. It's another different question, because wanting to buy and able to buy is, again, the conflict that is always being discussed about.
Of course, to stimulate a lot of people buying, the government has put in some initiatives. The most notable is the home ownership campaign, which was quite successful. So if it's successful, why stop it, right? You know, the good thing going on. But the experts you spoke to said they like HOC, but it's not enough. So what is then more that needs to be done?
Okay, so the HOC incentives that was offered this year is fairly similar to last year. So it's for properties priced between 300,000, 301,000 to I think 2.5 million. And then there's the 10% discount from developers, and then there is the exemption of stamp duties on various documents. But the major thing that the consultants or the property experts they think that should be more is the extension of the incentives to the secondary market. So yeah, because HOC is only for the primary market, which is the developers' residential projects. So because from last year's numbers, secondary market transactions actually dominate the market. So they think that the incentives, if it can be extended to the secondary market, it would be great, because buyers in the secondary market, they face the challenge of coming up with the 10% down payment, and of course other upfront cash payments like the stamp duties and all that. So if the extension can be given to the secondary market, it would be great. And then there's others that they talk about is to waive the levy for the release of Bhumiputra units. That's one of it. And the other one is to extend the incentives or offer some incentives for commercial shop lots and purpose-built industrial properties.
So essentially they're saying cast the net wider.
Yeah.
Make it more far-reaching rather than the simple campaign that it used to be. So the interesting thing about surveys, especially when we run surveys, is that sometimes there are things that are surprising to you. So this survey that we ran, was there any particular trend or anything that you found surprising?
As much as they are happy with the return of HOC, they are unable to buy due to various reasons, like the economic, the uncertainty in the economy, the uncertainty in employment and pay cuts and all that, which they can't really control. But there are two reasons that kind of stand out. So the first one is difficulty in getting housing loan, and the second one is coming up with the 10% down payment, or however percentage of the down payment, which is the upfront cash. So the property experts did discuss about this issue. So one of the things that can help with the down payment is this scheme called Rent to Own scheme.
Okay.
Yeah. So Maybank House Key is one of the first programs to come up with, which is for the primary and the secondary market. And then because rent to own scheme is like people can rent for maybe a number of years, a certain period, and then they can transfer their rental into down payment, so that the buyers are able to buy a home easily. And within this period, buyers can also, potential buyers, they can also save up for other various upfront cash.
So rent essentially becomes equity?
Yes, in a way. Housing loan, there's nothing much they can say, because banks are stringent these days, is to avoid certain things from happening, And housing loan, basically what we as buyers can do is to buy within our means and to have good financial literacy and to cut down on our commitments.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.